everything that we want to make. So welcome again. I'm your host, Mrs. M. This is our weekly GovCon Lunch and Learn. The purpose of this is twofold. One, for anyone that's trying to decide if they want to do government contracts, especially in 2025 with all the changes. And two, for anyone that's already gotten started on the process, what they need to do to stay the course, and does it make sense for them to invest their time and energy in looking at winning a government contract. And what we also like to do is I like to give you some actionable items you can take every time you come on little things you can do that's going to help you in the current environment. And, and that is, things that are going to make sense now, not something that we've done years ago or even last week or last month. It changes so quickly. So I'm your host, Mrs. M, and I've been doing this since 97. And I've been in the DC area since 2008. But I've been doing state contracts for the state of Florida, federal contracts as a subcontractor, which would be a middleman on my end. I've been the prime, and I've used subs. I've been in when it was hard to get a contract, and I've been in when it was so easy you could close your eyes. So because I've experienced both of those, I know that it ebbs and flows. Everyone says it'll never be like it was before, and it will. It's just the same thing when it comes to when we first started going through the era, when we had to go through with after 9/11. You couldn't take anything on the plane. You had to be concerned with you were taking something on the plane. I mean, there was no wiggle room. And then as technology got better and they were easier to determine things, you could take more on the plane. They can see things. So it's not that it's calmed down to where it was before 9/11, but it definitely allowed you to see that there can be some changes. And that's the same thing with government. I've never subscribed to the fact that it should be so easy that anyone can do it without even trying. I've never said that. I don't believe that. I believe even before this happened in 2025, you had to put the work in, you had to put the energy in, you had to know what you were doing. People may have made it seem like that, but majority of the time, it was someone that knew someone or someone that had been doing it. They had a team. You didn't know the behind the scenes. You would get a parade of people that won contracts. I won a $30,000 contract in 15 minutes. You'd hear that all the time on YouTube. And anytime I would bring someone on, which wasn't very often, because my focus has always been on teaching you, not just parading a lot of people to show what they did. Yes, it's nice because they can then explain what they did, but that may work for them. So you kind of want to learn something that is going to be a good fit for you. And that's why I like to do more of the teaching than just showing you a bunch of people that won contracts. And we have a lot, but I don't do that a lot because I just think in a situation like now, doesn't matter those people won all those contracts because it's not going to work anymore. Because a lot of times people didn't have systems in place. Hi, Angela. A lot of times people didn't have systems in place. So now systems are required. And that's the one thing I've talked about. Having a viable business that is able to reach six figures, which it can, but having a system in place that you know how you did it. So that's what it's requiring now. And so I am going to share my screen, like I said, and then I'm going to actually share with you today's special highlight, as I like to say, is going to be finding contracts. How do you find something on Sam.gov that can still make you six figures in today's environment in 2025? So that's going to be the special thing. But we can talk about, I'm going to share with you a couple things you need to do to update your CAFE statement, because you definitely want to make sure you have that in order. So we're going to do all of this and get on and off in about 35 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now. And let me just do one thing, which is going to be the view. So let's do the full screen here. Okay. So if you guys could be mindful of any background noise for me, that way we can make sure everyone can hear it on our lunch hours. And let's get started. So we all know, and I kind of like going through this because it keeps my thoughts together. It's kind of like an outline. Even though I've been doing this for a long time, I just like can go fast and sometimes I forget things. So we all know that, there we go. So welcome to the GovCon Lunch and Learn. I'm your host, Mrs. M. You can still make six figures with disaster recovery contracts, the middleman, and my favorite, dibs. Defense Logistics Agency is going to be where I really do a lot of teaching. DLA are the products, they're not services. And with products on Defense Logistics Agency, which is DLA, it is known for being mission essential. And that's the buzzword, mission essential. Now, do I think they're going to go back to contracts that are not mission essential? Absolutely. Do I think they're going to really ease up on a lot of the contracts after the beginning of the fiscal year for 2026? Absolutely. There is a time frame to get certain things done by 2026. There are contracts that are going to be canceled that have already been expired and paid out in the whole nine, because it's about meeting the numbers of the promises that people have been made for the changes. So I believe it's going to really calm down in 2026. But I do not think right now it's going to go back to the way it was, with a lot of consulting contracts and a lot of contracts that probably did not yield the things they were looking to yield. I think that may change and may not ever go back. But a lot of those contracts didn't affect you guys anyway. I don't think a lot of you were doing $1 million in consulting for the government. That was normally the very large consulting. So a lot of this really is not going to have an effect on you for several reasons. One, because you guys are doing more of your small businesses. Those contracts are probably under the radar, still going on. A lot of these contracts were the very, very large, multi-million dollars. Now, yes, I know people had some $100,000 ones that in VA that I know that got some canceled, but I don't think that the simplified acquisition procedure for a $25,000 one-time cleanup, or to go in and do some renovations on a roofing for a FEMA building or something like that, is going to change. I don't believe that is. I believe that a lot of the other things, larger ones, consulting, things that may not be as tangible, I think some of those are going to be different. So I am a firm believer that in any environment, even in a recession, a Great Depression, even in this environment right now. Good afternoon. Hi, Ms. Proctor. Good to see you, from Jacksonville. That's right. I believe that there's ways to make money in any environment, in government contracts, even here. Now, the advantage that people have, in my opinion, now are the ones that stay the course, that can win contracts in this environment, that can learn all you need to learn when it's going to be harder than it's probably been ever. If you can do it in this environment, you can do it in any environment. So a lot of people are going to stop. They're going to start doing another hustle. They're going to start finding some other ways to make money. Whatever the latest hustle is what they're going to do. And then when government gets popular again and it's shiny and it looks like it's all fun, then they're going to come back over there. And guess what? People that stay the course are already going to have built the relationships with whoever's left, whatever agencies are here, and they're going to be the ones that are winning those contracts. I'm telling you, I've been doing business since 97. So I've known it. I've seen it. Ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows. And just like real estate, just like with the stock market, just like with anything, it's going to be a time it's popular and it's going to be a time that's not. I've been doing Bitcoin and I've heard all about Bitcoin. Don't invest in Bitcoin. You're going to lose money. Oh, invest in Bitcoin. You've got to make your decision. But I'll tell you this, for me, I've invested in cryptocurrency and it's been an asset for me because of the way I've done it. So it's the way you do something is what makes sense to me. That's just me looking at it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even when I go to my church, they'll say, oh, crypto is a scam and crypto, blah, 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 blah. You've got to make your own decision. But for me, it was one of the assets that I purchased, and it has done. I mean, I could go on about just investing, which is one of the things a business is. It's an investment. It's an asset. And that's what I look at it. So let's go ahead and dive in on some things that we want to go over. So once again, my favorite is disaster recovery. I can't emphasize enough. Middleman and dibs. These have not changed. How you do them may change, but they have not changed. So all of this is for 2025. Once again, even before we got all this, I said government contracting is not a secret, it's a process. I am your host, Mrs. M. My goal is to let you know if this is something that's a good fit for you, or to give you some ideas on some things you can do even during this environment, and hopefully get your mind right to know that you can stay the course if you do it the correct way. I've never really emphasized a lot of certifications, although I think they're great, but you cannot. I know there was this guy that I knew that was a retired military colonel, and he went and he's disabled and he's a minority, and he went and got the disability, and he said that he thought he was going to just win contracts because he now is certified as a disabled veteran. No, you still have to do something to set you apart, and that was the thing he thought. That doesn't do it. That puts you in a pool of other people, but it doesn't set your business apart. That's why I've never emphasized that. So the formula that I've used has still won contracts to date. We've still been winning contracts because the formula is my OBART system, which is what we're going to talk about. Now, what you're looking at now is my procurement conferences. I've done one every year for the last 6 years. So this is me at the upcoming procurement conference that's still going on as of right now. And this is where you will be exposed to the government buyers. Now, this is in April. This will be after the budget, and they'll probably do a continuing resolution. So that means we'll already know who is in the game because that'll be through September. So they're going to start opening it up when it comes to winning contracts again and awarding contracts. Well, this is that really, really popular place to be. And this is my conference. And what this is it is where you can meet some of everyone. You can meet contracting officers who are the ones that buy the contracts or award the contracts. You can meet your small business program people that help you along the way with introducing people. You can meet other people that you can team up with to try to win contracts or do dibs together or something like that. So this is me at the conference, and all the things in the back, those are actually contracting facilities. Those are people waiting on the floor for you to come up with them and give them your capability statement. And if it looks good, then they're going to your CAPE briefing, and they're going to see if they can set up an appointment with you. That right now is the conference. It's a 2-day conference that I hope you guys, if you're interested in more information, I'll put my phone number in there, and I'll put in our email, and you can just send us an email if you're interested. But it's like the Super Bowl of government contracting. And as of right now, they're still going to do it the exact same way. Thousands of government contractors, because they've got over 2-something million people. So they're not going to get rid of all of them. But the ones that are going to be there are the ones that you want to make the relationship with. And there are going to be some that are definitely going to be wanting to do government, because by then we'll be in the second quarter. All right. Well, this is some of the conferences. Over here is one of the actual conferences that I'm talking about. This is one of my personal conferences, which is day one. It's broken down into 2 days. Both of them are procurement. One is my small conference to get you to understand what you need to do for when you go to the big one. So we do a lot of role playing. I do a lot of looking at your CAPE statements, prepping you for when you go to meet with those government buyers. And if you go and visit our websites, the one thing that our winners, we choose a winner to come and pay for everything for them to come. One thing they've always said is they were so prepared with their CAPE statement and their signature offer and all the things that we talk about, that they didn't feel any type of nervousness or anxiety, because they were ready when the government buyer asked them, why should I buy your stuff, or where's your CAPE statement? They were boom, 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 because that's what we've taught in the class. We've taught you those things. So we just I love doing teaching. I do a free teaching. That's me doing the free teaching. And this is our dinner that we have. And that's us doing free teaching in my corporate office in the DC area. And that's us out there saying have a good time. So I'm going to go over the CAPE statement in just a couple of minutes, some things you want to update real quickly. And then I'm going to go over Sam. This works for anyone that wants to put the work in. And the average time has always been long, even though people have made it seem smaller. And my promise now is to kind of give you a couple of things that you can do that's going to make that difference. Now, this is the formula that I actually swear by. This is my formula that I created after over 28, 30 years with government and corporate and military. I've been fortunate to do all of that. And the one thing that I know in business, one-on-one is you have to have a great offer. Now, with government, especially in 2025, it couldn't be more accurate. I've always talked about having a signature offer, which means what are you offering that saves the government money? And I'm going to give you examples of that in the case statement. Saves them money, saves them time. That is going to make it appear that you may not be mission essential, but you're definitely effective in what is cutting the government's waste. That's the key. There's going to be two categories: people that are mission essential, which I'm going to share with you what that looks like. And then those of you that are doing a lot of things that are going to make the government run smoother, tighter, faster, better. The majority of the time, the government is very antiquated. It's old. I'm actually a veteran. And when I go to VA, the way they take our medical information, they can't upload it. They have to email it or mail it a physical copy of whatever x-ray you've taken. Now, by the time the x-ray gets there, which might be 2 or 3 weeks later to the VA hospital, your x-rays anything could have changed. So one of the things that is going to be a good thing is I think it's going to make the government move faster. That can be a good thing if you're in it for the long haul. Because I know personally there are a lot of things that are antiquated. It just doesn't make any sense. And one of them is the VA hospital. I can't understand why it takes 3 weeks for you to get some x-rays that now they're like obsolete because everything has changed. So I think when you can come up with a system that you're going to send the software that's going to create the x-rays to get there faster, or you're going to do something with the landscaping that's going to make the grass grow greener on some of the military bases, or you're going to have these washing machines that are going to wash the clothes for the military people uniforms faster. It doesn't have to be anything like you're doing rocket science, but it needs to be faster, better, easier, cheaper. One of those, and I've always taught that. I've always said you have to have a signature offer. So spend time on what it is that you feel you can offer. That's your signature offer. Then, once again, the buyer is always going to be on usaspending.gov. Your avenue to win is going to be on how do you want to win? Do you want to win with the request for quote, request for proposal? My favorite for beginners and people that are trying to win their first contract has always been relationship. Finding someone, which is your R, for building a relationship so that they can look at helping you win your first contract, which are normally between $25,000 and $250 or $100 to $10,000. Now, right now, there's a freeze on government credit cards. Government credit cards are where we would do the buying something called a micro purchase. It could be gas, it could be anything. There's a freeze on that probably for the next 30 days, from what I've understood. And then individuals can go back to, hey, I want to get my grass cut. I don't want to have to go through a big process. I'm going to give you the credit card and just pay you with the credit card, which means you get paid within the next day or two. That's a micro purchase. My favorite avenue is doing disaster recovery contracts, the micro purchase, and staying within that 25 and 250. That's still going on now. What they're getting, what the opportunities are changing for veterans and federal contracts. So it would be like veterans, women owned, 8A, and hub. Those numbers may go down a little bit right now. What has gone up is small businesses. You're a small business if you're self-certified in your Sam.gov account. So I'm giving you high level, not eye level, but that is where the numbers have gone up. And what's gone down a little bit for awarding contracts has been the federal certs. And that's the ones that I've not emphasized as far as just, I still say get them, but you don't want to lead with your certification. So my OBAR system, offer, buyer, avenue to win, narrowing down how do you want to win that contract? Do you want to focus on request for quotes, request for proposal? Do you want to focus on simplified acquisition or micro purchase? Then build the relationship, which is all about LinkedIn, events, all kinds of things where you see people in person. Or you want to do emails. Now people are back in the office. Some people don't have offices, but all of them have military emails, as you can see, and they're looking at them because of all the stuff going on. So there are some advantages. I feel badly for the federal employees. I definitely do. But some of the advantages that we can look forward to is that they're probably going to respond to emails a lot faster, especially once all this gets ironed out. And so there'll be maybe more responses once they know what the budget is, which should be in the next month, to know what you can and cannot do. So it could be a good thing for people that are looking at doing contracts, because now you're going to be able to reach individuals. And I've spoken to a lot of people that say, yeah, a lot of people are back in the office. They've got to monitor those emails because they never know what's coming through. And that means yours as well. That's the good thing. And the last thing is finding other people to team up with that might be really great. And they're in Florida. They're right next to a lot of disaster recovery contracts. You're in Missouri, and you can look at building a relationship. And you can do that just by some like our Facebook groups, where we have other people that connect, or we break into small groups. When you become a student of ours, we break into small groups. Like we have a one-on-one today at I think 3 o'clock for our students. So, and this works for any industry. Now, I'm going to give you, I was in the Air Force and I served 12 years, got out, ended up doing this contract, realized that I needed to have subs and employees. So I've done both. And I've been fortunate to work over 20, 30 years with government. And the whole key is still having something that is going to be a great fit. So I love doing this. I've been doing it for years. And now let's go over the basic things you need real quickly, so then I can share with you the CAPE statement and the Sam.gov. The basic things you're going to need if you want to do a disaster recovery contract, or if you want to do a middleman contract, which is going to be more like more things that are essential, or you're going to be able to save the government money, or if you want to do DIBS. I love DIBS. DIBS still works well with the Defense Logistics Agency, which by its nature is mission essential. So you don't hear a lot about DLA getting cut. Haven't heard anything about that, because that's a part of the mission essential. Everyone knows that there's the jokes about how people spend 40,000 for something at the Pentagon or Department of Defense. I've heard that the way they shop is crazy, that they'll spend all this money procuring something that they could go to uh, Home Depot and get. So the first thing you want to make sure of is you have your CAPE statement, which I'm going to share a little bit of what you need to have on there. We actually have a template that's been updated for all the changes. Our students will start receiving that. You want to make sure you have your website up. You want to make sure you have government services on your website and your capability statement, your updated version. 2025 is a new year, new game, new everything. Update your CAPE statements. You can't use the one you've used before. I'm going to share with you some areas you really want to focus on in a couple of minutes. Make sure that you have your elevator pitch. That's if you're going somewhere and someone asks, what do? You should be able to answer them very quickly what you do, starting with, I save the government agent, this agency money by blah, blah, blah. I save them time. I do this. And in 6 seconds, I should be able to look at your CAPE statement and I should be able to see what you do. 6 seconds, CAPE statement. I should be able to see what you do very easily in your website. So if I'm looking at doing disaster recovery contracts, then that's going to be my avenue for winning. I'm going to spend a lot of energy in that. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about why you should choose me. If I'm doing the middleman, I want to find something I'm doing the middleman specifically on. I don't think it's good just to be general. I think you need to be specific. So I might find that I want to do the middleman, which means I'm going to find the contracts and I'm going to sub them. I'm still going to put everything as if I'm doing the contracts. So if I'm looking at doing the middleman for GSA, I'm going to make sure that my website really focuses on the mission of GSA. If I'm doing it for Department of Homeland Security, it's going to focus on FEMA. That's what you want to do. And then the third thing is just making sure that if you want to sell products, my favorite is DIBS. There's so many tools that you can use, and I've done that the most. So products are a good thing to look at, because a lot of things that are being canceled are services. A lot of products are still safe, especially products are something that are tangible. You can hold it, you can use it up, you need it again. Services, not so much. You can combine people, you can eliminate things. And you've got to remember, a lot of things that are going to be taken, like I understand in GSA, because I talked to a lot of government people. They got rid of the entire area for government when it came to estimators. An estimator is someone that the government says, we need a roof. We're going to put a proposal together, an RFQ and RFP, to ask you guys to put a roof on for me. They're then going to go to their estimators after they create the statement of work. They'll give it to their estimators to ask how much do they think you guys should bid to do the work. So they already have an idea of what the bid is going to be. When you guys start putting your bids in, they then look to see how close it is. Well, they got rid of all of those estimators in that one department. Now, notice I said that one department. And so that is one of the, oh, great. You received your divs. Great. Password. Great, Angela. So that's one of the things that AI is probably going to do. They're probably going to plug in some information, let AI decide on what they think the estimation should be, and they're no longer going to have people doing it. One of the things about services is AI is really great for that, not so much with products. So you've got to look at where things are going to go and kind of pivot if you want to be in business, any kind, because technology is here to stay. So you've got to be mindful of that. So these are the things you want to have. And the last thing you want to have is your DSBS profile, which I'm going to share with you. So your elevator pitch, you want to have your case statement, your updated version. You want your introduction letter, which introduces you. If you're sending out emails, you want to break the ice. You want to have your website and your DSBS profile. So now I'm going to share with you the screen. And I'm talking about recovery. My favorite for doing disaster relief is always going to be recovery because there's more opportunities. And that one is the longest going. We still have missions in Florida right now. That goes on for decades. So now let's go ahead and escape out of here. And then I will share with anyone who may want to be here and learn. If anyone's new and they want to learn what they can do to get more information, because I'm giving you high level, not eye level. If you stay on to the end in about maybe 15, 20 minutes, I'll give you a way if you'd like to join me to learn more. So let's actually look at the website. If I were wanting to do disaster relief, disaster recovery, then I know still even today, if you go to Sam.gov, it will say to register for FEMA. You're still going to have to register for FEMA. And that is going to be, everything I'm teaching is currently as of March the 5th, 2025. So if you're looking at doing disaster relief contracts, I'm going to emphasize to you that you have to do the work, and you definitely want to make sure your first stop is to register for the vendor profile form, and you're going to fill it all in and you're going to submit it. You must have your cage code in order to do this. All right. Now, is updating to comply with, thank you for your patience and understood. They're updating to comply with the executive order, which is mission essential information. That's what they're doing. So like I said, everything is going to get a new face, and you're already going to be there ready for when the change, you're already there for it. It's like a chess game. You're already anticipating the move, so you're ahead of it before instead of behind it. Chess and pool, you anticipate the move before people do it. That's why you win. So that's the same thing with your business. You have to anticipate where your industry is moving and already be there before it gets there, because then everybody else comes. You want to be the 1% that get there before the 99 people. So understand that there will be changes for how they're going to award FEMA contracts, and they're still going to be able to award contracts when it comes, because mission essential is definitely going to be disasters, definitely going to be recovery. It just may not be as much money, but there's, because you can see nature is not going to change, and AI can't do anything about that. Artificial intelligence can't do anything when it comes to people having to be boots on ground, because they haven't gotten to the point where they're going to have all these robots going. So that's something that needs to be done as of now. That's why disaster relief, disaster recovery contracts are one of my favorite. Okay. And the reason why I emphasize recovery instead of just relief, because relief could be preparation, it could be mitigation, but recovery means you're going in, you're getting everything prepped and ready as if the storm never occurred, getting people back to where they were. So recovery is the thing, the disaster recovery. There are a lot of opportunities. That's one that's not going to change. Get your cage code, register in FEMA, get everything together, but first start with your case statement to reflect all the things that you want, which is going to be focusing on something you can add to this area. If you have any background or if you know someone, this is where you want to do it. And then I suggest one step further, registering in that state. If you want to do a lot of contracts in Florida, register in the state in Florida. That's going to get your foot in the door more than just on a federal level, but a lot of this is going to be on a state level. This administration wants to push a lot of stuff to the state education, so you can't change it. You can complain about it, you can worry about it, but it's not going to matter. So what can you do? You can get in front of it. If they're talking about state stuff, then get to where the state level is. That's my take on it. If they're talking about doing more stuff on the county level, make sure you're all registered and ready to go in your counties, or the place you might want to work. So FEMA is if you're looking at doing the DRC, because this is going to change so much. You're still going to use your usaspending.gov. Some of the estimates are probably going to come in faster because of the technology that they're going to use. This is where you're always going to find your buyer. So that's going to be your second on the OBART system, which is my formula. What are you offering? And what are you offering that's going to save, that's going to increase, that's going to decrease for the government, especially in this environment? Next, who is your buyer? Still going to come to usaspending.gov. You're going to find out that right now we don't have a lot of data for it for fiscal year 2025. 2024 has changed so much, but go with who was at one time buying what you had. That may not change. I know they can't get rid of whole departments without going through the Supreme Court, but executive orders are just temporary. Some change things, some don't. So some things are going to go back to what they were because they're not legal. But by the time that changes, you can already kind of be ahead of the game. So who is your buyer right now in 2024? And what is their mission? And what can you do to align yourself with their mission by visiting their websites and making sure you have all that? Still right now is one of the best places. It's going to be FPDS. I'm sorry, it's going to be your SBA. If you're looking at doing the middleman, make sure you're reflecting that information on your dynamic small business search. This is the number one place people are still looking as of right now for small businesses, still looking for them. Still the number one place. Number two is going to be your agency's vendor portal. I give my students, I have 4 long sheets of portals and I think USA Aid is one of the ones that's gone. We never did the consumer protection. So USAID might not be there, but all the other vendor portals that we have are there. So if you're looking at working with the Department of Homeland Security, you want to have your profile on DSBS and you have to have the right words because it's brought up like a Google search. That's where I spend the time teaching my students. I'm giving you the high level, but you want to have the right words, like keywords that brings you up when someone is searching for someone that does disaster recovery contracts in Florida or Missouri or wherever you are. They need to be able to find you. That's how they do. And as of right now, this is still the place where they're looking for people 25K and under, 250,000 under. That has not changed. The big boys are changing. Those billion and $1 million contracts are changing, and high, 500, 600. I haven't really heard a lot of those change, but I'm quite sure a lot of those have changed. But a lot of the small ones that you guys are going after still hadn't changed. Still, you can still cut your teeth on a lot of those small contracts, and this still has not changed. They're going after the larger ones right now. I don't think the smaller ones are really making that big of a dent. So that's where I've always preached to learn that first before you go after the large ones. And I do know people are losing contracts, veterans, disabled vets. I know that it is true because I'm in DC and I hear it a lot. So this is where you want to go. Make sure you have your DSBS profile. I can't emphasize that enough. And they even talk about interest in doing business with the federal government. Then as a response, remember I said disaster recovery. I didn't do response and I didn't do the other other four areas: disaster preparedness, disaster response. You want to do disaster recovery. You want to be a disaster recovery contractor. That's where you're going to go. And then if you want to do business with the FEMA, period. If you want to do the responding, then you're going to go to SAM and go to FEMA. If you only want to do the recovery, then you're only going to have to register with FEMA. That's the difference. One is for the response, which is like phase 3. And one is for just if you want to do recovery, which is this FEMA by itself. But make sure that's why they put this in the DSBS, because they know that this is one of the places you really want to make sure. Now, let's get to the part of the CAPE statement, and then we'll final out with the Sam.gov. But that's all. And then my favorite is DIBS. DIBS is going to be one of my favorite, which is the DLA. So if I were to go with DIBS, you have to have a cage code. And with DIBS, this is still where you're going to go. And it says vendor shipping has mandatory changes for shipping. So there's like 3 parts to DIBS. You have to know how to find the contract after you've registered. And there is not very much that has changed on DIBS. I would still come here and go to RFQs. I would still choose what category. I might look for something that's going to be medical. That's going to be, so I'm going to look for my supply class. I'm going to use 65. I think it's 6515. I think that's it. And that's the medical. And I can still see that DIBS platform is still the same. 1,723 possibilities are there. So once you find what you're looking for, then you have to find who is going to supply that with you. That's where a lot of the training comes in. Then you've got to make sure you can get it shipped in time. You have to see if you're going to ship it to you and you're shipping it to the end user, or you're going to be able to ship it directly to the end user. And then you repeat it, rinse and repeat. I love DIBS because I can work a 9 to 5 and I can still do DIBS, and I can do it on the weekends if I want. And I know that DIBS has made people money. I know people that do fuel, all kinds of things, because this is Defense Logistics Agency. That's how they bid. I think that's what's going to end up being for all of the agencies the way DIBS is. I think they're going to have a board and you get on there, and depending on that agency, you choose what you want. And that's what I think is going to end up being more of the system than what it is for the way they do it now. That's just my take on it. So transport is out right now, according to DIBS. Not to my knowledge. No, I don't think that there's different categories. And as of when I looked at it, Delote, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right. There was still a lot of opportunities for transport. Do you know something differently? I don't know if you can talk or not. So no, not to my knowledge, and I was in DIBS yesterday. So I have not seen anything different for there. Let me see what your comment was. Yes, ma'am. I'm dealing with car shipping and freight. Okay, you're dealing with car shipping and freight. So I have not seen any changes for that I've noticed. No, maybe as of yesterday, but I know that there are a lot of things that they're revamping and they're coming back, because I know that there are so many things they have to do with transfer. I'm working. Okay, gotcha. Well, I know that you have signed up for a couple of things, so I do remember your name. So welcome and good to see you here. So DIBS still has, so if we were to look for, and I'm being mindful of the time, but if I were to go to downloads and then I were to go to DLA supply class, and then I come here, yes, and then I come here, let's move this out the way, and I go to my downloads and I click that, then I can see where I can look for transport, and I would look at what it is, and due to time, I'm not going to do that today because it's not an alphabetical order, but I would look and see if tires or if it's tractors, because there's a lot of different categories. So I know they're probably not all, maybe a couple might be affected, but that's why I love DIBS, because it is about weapons and ships and a lot. I think there's like 7 categories. Marine time, there's a lot of them. So divs is one of my favorite, and it's a lot of details. So I teach that on the eye level, not the high level, but in a couple of my classes, I give you a little bit to get you going and get you a little money coming in. So that is one of my favorite. So now let's wrap up with showing you the CAPE statement. Let's see, where is it? Here we go. So my thing that I want you to pay attention to for when you're updating your capability statement is this. Let's see if I have. Yes, that'll be fine. So my thing is, we always had the core competencies, past performance, differentiators, and corporate data. Where you really want to focus, and I'm giving you the high level, and this is something we give to our students, is right here. Your differentiators are going to be the main thing you want to update. So let me give you a couple of examples. Worked with and registered over 100,000 businesses, including Amazon, blah, blah, blah. And my thing would be, which resulted in an increase of 25%. You want to give them specific information. So, worked on the elevator contract, worked on an elevator contract that resulted in, yes, you want the matrix. You want to show them, like, there was someone that had to give the 5 bullet statements that they're talking about they had. And this particular person I was speaking with was with an agency, and they were saying that they were going to send the 5 bullet statements that they had worked on watering system or filtering system. And I asked them, what was the result? Did the filtration make the water a percentage better? Or that's what they're looking for. Even with those bullet statements, people don't think they are, but I believe they are. I believe they're looking to see if you are saving them money, or are you just listing, I worked on a water system. What was the result of working on the water system? What does it matter? That's what they're looking at that's going to differentiate you. You don't have to reinvent the wheel, but I would say work with and registered over 1,000 businesses, including that. What was the result of that? What was the result of working with and registering over 100,000 with that? You could add a couple more words, which resulted in an increase in better service to our customer service. But you got to give the meat, and I've always taught that to you guys. You want to say, what are the results of what you're doing? That's always got to be in the mind. It's like, I went to go for a walk, and the results is I'm breathing better, and I've lost 5 pounds from doing it. Instead, I went for a walk. Okay. So what's that mean? So if you add a little bit more, have maybe 4 bullets, whatever, give it a little bit more meat, talk about results of whatever you're doing. And that's what you want to think about. And so that's kind of the update for 2025. You must make sure that you're putting, and that's why I always tell you guys to create a signature offer. Name it your so-and-so program, and these are the 5 differentiators with that program. You have like they have software as a service, that's why SaaS. But you want to create something. This program does this, and this. And then you name your program and you name the things that your program does. Do you think a lot of people are naming like they have these differentiators here, but it would make a big difference if I said full service firm providing everything from registration, bid training, and SAS. I may say something like Encore, uh, my Encore something enhanced program provides registration and bid training and SASAS, which resulted in an increase in something. So I'm going to let you know what my signature program is, and then I'm giving you bullet statements under that. It's all going to be about that signature program, which automatically I've created and just made up a name, and I've created, just like they say, Prime Video is one of the biggest things for Amazon, not when people were canceling the Washington Post. The money is Prime Video, or I'm sorry, what is it? Yeah, Prime membership. They didn't just say Amazon, they called it Prime membership. They gave it a name. Everyone knows Prime membership. You say Prime membership, you know Amazon. That's what I'm saying. They just created a name for it. They didn't just say Amazon membership. They said Prime membership. Just like, so that's what I'm saying. I can't emphasize that enough. And I can't tell you how many CAPE statements that come across my desk after all that talking. I talk about a signature offer and it's nowhere to be seen. And I talk about that all the time. And that's going to really make a difference now. So that's that. And now let's go to Sam and then we're going to wrap up. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more on DSBS or anything like that, or DIBS, then that's the key. So let's go here. Now, if I'm looking at Sam.gov, all I did was come in and I put in mission essential. When I put in the contract search, my keyword was mission essential services. And then I came here and I put in sources sought. That means they're looking for someone to do something. Pre-solicitation, that means they're looking to put it out for a bid. And then combined synopsis is an RFQ. I didn't put in anything else. I want to see what mission essential services might be something I could do that I have never done before, because this is something that's totally different than what we've ever done before. So I'm not going to narrow it down into my NAICS code. I'm going to narrow it down to mission essential services and see if anything's in my NAICS code. Flip it. And then I'm going to decide if I think that there was something. Now, for me, there was one thing here that I found interesting, and it was for Veteran Affairs, and it was right down here. It was, this is something about a wave transport. Let's see if I can find it. It was something for VA. Here it is. Contract support services. This is a request for information, RFI. This is not a request for proposal or a request for quote. A lot of your requests for information are similar to a sources sought. And when I click onto it to get more information, then it gives me all of the things it's looking for me to do. It told me that I think this ends on February the 14th. I'm sorry, on April 15th. And then it goes into all the information of what they're looking at. And then it tells me all the things. It's long, so I'm not going to go through it. But that's exactly what I did. I came in and I put in mission essential services. And then I would also put in mission essential products. Do that, see what comes up, and see if there's any opportunities for you. And I would put on my calendar to do that every 2 or 3 days, because when something comes up, that's where you can see, maybe I can middleman this out. Maybe I've got someone that can help me with it. But that's how you're going to still be able to make 6 figures on Sam.gov, but you might not be able to put in your NAICS code. You're going to put in mission essential, and that's the key. And that's what's going to bring up right now what they're winning contracts with. All right? So now that is what you're going to spend some time on. And that is one of those that you can do on the weekends. You can make a list of it. You just have to do it. Now, are there any other questions about how to go in and just put in mission essential? And it'll bring up, I think there's like 60 opportunities. And there may be 3 that are a good fit for me. I know that I go through this rather quickly, but you at least know right now, okay, if I'm interested in doing that, I want to do recovery. That one's easier. I know I can find all kinds of opportunities, but I've got to start with registering with the vendor. And then this is where you can find opportunities because you're registered with the vendor and you know that there are states that are going to have, like Florida, Texas, they're going to have recovery, and the hurricane season starts in June. This is when you're doing the prep work. And so I believe if you have your right offer, you know your buyer, you've got the right avenue. You got to have the right avenue. Don't try to go for an avenue for requests for proposals and you don't have one past performance. You want to try to win them between 25 and 250 and stay in your lane because you don't have past performance for things like that. Work on building those relationships. I know it's musical chairs right now, but trust me, it will calm down and people are going to be able to navigate it a lot easier because I think people are going to be responding faster and they're going to be on their P's and Q's more because they don't want to not appear that they're not doing their job. I think that the days of people feeling very comfortable in their federal jobs have changed the way all this has gone down. So I think there's going to be a little bit more of appreciation like there was in the private sector, because I know with the public servants, public service was kind of hard to get rid of you. And so I know some people that, may have retired while they were still working, but that were only a few people, not a lot of people at all. But that's all of us. There's people that do that and everything. But I think now with the spotlight being on some of those jobs and those positions, you're probably going to get a lot more from some of the agencies that might have been hard to get. Hopefully that'll be the case. That are a little hard. I know they're getting rid of a lot of people, but maybe they'll fix it where people are more apt to respond. We're definitely looking at doing that with emails, and maybe with people looking more at their emails, that might help us. But just focus on what you're offering. That's where your signature offers coming in. Who is your buyer as of right now? Focus on the avenue of disaster recovery, middleman in reselling to the government, specifically with DIBs. That is still a way you can make six figures, and six figures is 8,300 and something dollars a month. And I know that's not a little bit of money, but it's definitely something you can do. It's not like it's 100,000 a month or 88,000 a month. So you can definitely find a contract that you might be able to do, one that ends that's 166,000. You get another one, so it may not be a whole year. You may have to do a project or something. Definitely keep working on those relationships on LinkedIn. I know a lot is just crazy, but still keep doing it. When the dust settles, you'll be surprised how far ahead you are when you stay the course. And don't forget about other business owners. And I said, anyone that wants to know about anything I offer, my area of helping you is to make it make sense, to take the, to demystify it and make it make sense, to understand what you need to do. So I do that in several ways. And one of the ways is my workshop to take you from wherever you are to transport you to where you want to end up, which is winning contracts. And I always say six figures, because six figures and beyond, pow, is a game changer. Bringing in six-figure business is something that is a great start, a great goal to place for a lot of people, because you can pay mortgages with six figures. You can put kids in college with six figures. So when I do my launches, or when I teach launching or any kind of consulting, that's what I talk about, because that's something you can really hold on to. So I do what we call my disaster recovery workshops, the middleman, and I share with you how to do DIBs. It looks like this. It's a 2-day, and that means that you're going onto my bid platform where you can find bids. You break up into small groups. We have quarterly meetings. You can upgrade to any of my other classes, and you can receive a full credit for this one for anything other than that. This one is about 4 to 5 hours on my school platform where you have 24/7 access and you're a lifetime student. So you would go on there and learn all about the latest updated for what we're doing. And then you also have one time a month. And I think this month it's like the 17th or so of March. Then you get to meet with me and other individuals live. And we're together for about an hour and a half. And that is where we go into specifically disaster relief information. That is one of those that we do that specifically where we do that. So that is one of it really hones in on that little area to get your foot in the door and get you started. Okay. And I see Miss Gonzalez, you would be able to get in there for no cost. Okay, so send me an email, because you're already in one of our higher classes. You get our lower classes for free. Okay, so make sure you shoot an email to my team and we'll send that out to you on Monday. Okay, and hopefully you recover from your situation. But we do lifetime access, and these are just some people that it's worked for. And what you actually receive is the DRC workshop platform, live coach, 2 weeks of our bidding platform that gives you all the bids, over 1,000 opportunities, even in today's environment. go over dibs, how to do all of that, and also get the mind right. And it helps you get positioned for winning in today's environment. So that's what you receive. It's $297, one-time investment, lifetime access, and you also get the last 3 years of our classes, and it's for the next hour. It's 1 o'clock now. You would have until 2 p.m. Eastern for the 297. The regular pricing goes up back to the 397. If you've ever taken any of our higher classes, our Crack the Gov code, our black belt, you get this at no cost. And like I said, this is lifetime access. So we try to make it a sweet deal for you. And this would show you how to get started. This is all about creating your SAM. So if someone has never done anything, would be a great place to start if they wanted to. Am I able to take the DIBS course? We have not finished the adding everything for the complete DIBS course. So I will let you know. I don't know what that one is going to look like because we're really putting a lot of energy into upgrading the DIBS course because of all the changes that a lot of people might move to products. So we're going to get an update on that probably on Monday, and we'll send out some information. I know we're still doing our proposal course. So we have 2 or 3 courses in the hopper that we're upgrading to give people a little bit more information. And one of them is going to be DIBS. We're going to put a lot more information on our DIBS. So just hold tight, and we will definitely let you know if it would be one that's going to be of a lower price or the same. So I'll let you know about that. Yes, we have a proposal course and the DIBS course, both. So we'll send that out to you, Ms. Proctor, for sure. So anyone that's interested, it's a one-time $297 when you sign up. We're notified, and I'm going to put how you would sign up in there and my phone number if you had any questions. Can I make a few changes to my website? That was done for me. Absolutely. So we did your website, Angela. You just got to send it in. I'd like to make these changes, make sure, so we don't have to change it that often. Make sure you sit with it for a minute, make sure those are all the changes you want, because I don't want them to feel like they got to keep making changes because they're doing new websites for new students. But yes. Can you send me those courses to me for others? Absolutely. Yes, we will send that out to you as well. So right now, like I said, if you're interested, I'm going to put and we do a 3-day money back guarantee. I'm a firm believer, and I'd like to give you time to look and see, and that's what we have for you. So let's go ahead and get out of this. Come here, and let's go with stop sharing. I'll just put this in here. So if anyone were interested, let's see. If anyone were interested, then they would simply use this link to sign up, and anything you do with this one will automatically go towards a higher course. We have the proposal course, and all of our courses and all of our information is right here. You would just simply go to the GovEdge. This is our website. So the GovEdge, and these are our services. That's if you want us to do it for you, or if you want us to do consulting. And this is our Crack the Gov code, our GovEdge, our disaster, and our business proposal, and all that is right there. And then we have our membership, which is our higher black belt. You have to be already making 6 figures to join us for that. That's a year invitation only for our top earners that have already gotten there. So definitely come over here. But for some people that just want an introduction to government, the 297 for that workshop right here is the one. So you just click onto it. It gives you all the information, your learning objectives, everything right here, the highlights, and you would just you can see it says 397 because of the fact that you would be paying it without that link. So if you come on here after 2 o'clock, that's what the price is. It's 397 instead of 297. But this lists all of what we provide. And like I said, that workshop is a good place for a lot of people who want to just get their feet wet with it, and they know that they can use that. And they can also take that money and apply it to all of our other classes And this is where you come in, you sign in here, and this is our school platform for all of our other classes as well. And I have a team of about 5 people that is what we use for people to get going. So these are all the things that people are doing. We have what we call our hubs right here, and these are all our classes right here. So that's all you need to do till, like I said, it changes at that time frame at 2. Take your time, look at our YouTube, look at our classes, look at everything. That's why I give that to you. If anyone had any questions, oh, thank you. Yes, we do have a vault, and our vault has all our information from years ago. If anyone had any questions, you would just need to call me at this number. That's our support team number. We do have live support for you where we answer our phones on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to give you live support. We have email support and we have Facebook support. So we love to try to be a service business, as we say, a servant service business where we're trying to serve you and get you up and going to make the money that we know you guys want to make. All right. So if there are any questions, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up and wish you guys a great day. Hopefully, some of you will journey my way and end up being one of our students. I'd love to have you. And if not, at the very least, keep on going. Don't give up. And I appreciate you too, Miss Angela. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Have a fantastic day and take care. Thank you.